Welcome to the final lesson of the sketching phase in Accelerated Solidworks 2025 learning, which is almost complete. And you need to practice sketching a lot to strengthen the foundation. Now for the last lesson of sketching. Go, go, go. Lesson 4. Sketch, mirror, pattern, and advanced drawing exercises. In this lesson, I will share the sketch, mirroring, and patterns function, and finally summarize the functions of learning sketching by drawing a sketch. This sketch is a test diagram of a desktop robotic arm created by the Dolphin Robotic Arm Combat course. Okay, let's start this lesson. Let's learn the mirror entity function first. Let's go to sketching. Activate the circle with the mouse gesture. Draw a circle at the top. Then draw a vertical line next to the circle. Activate the line with the mouse gesture. And when the drawing is finished, press ESC to exit the line command. Click the Mirror Entity button. There are two boxes in the properties. The first box is to select the entity to be mirrored, and the second box is to select the mirror axis, which must be a straight line. Select the circle in the sketch. See the property box on the left. You can see that it has been added to the entity to be mirrored in the first box. And then click on the line. Okay, this line is also selected in the entity to be mirrored. But our original intention is to select this line into this mirror axis. So we need to right click to delete this line. After deletion, we observe the difference between the two selection boxes. The first selection box is light blue, and the second selection box is white, indicating that the light blue is the active selection box. So in this state, the sketch element we selected in the sketch will be added into this activated selection box. Now we click on the mirror axis and it will appear light blue. And now we can move the mouse over the part window and select the line. At this time, the mirror preview of the circle will appear on the right side of the sketch. Click OK to submit this edit. And this is the mirror circle. The above is the function of the mirror entity button. And now I will introduce the function of the linear sketch pattern. Click on the linear sketch pattern. And the sketch pattern is to copy the sketch element that have been drawn and the way the pattern is copied. Click on the entity box to be patterned in the property box. And then select the circle that has just been mirrored. You can see that there is a preview circle next to the circle. We change the distance between them. Fill in 100 in the distance box. And then press the keyboard Enter key to refresh the preview. Look down at the number of patterns. Note that the number of patterns, it contains the initial first shape. If we change it to 3, there will be an extra circle on the right. There are a total of 3 circles, which is an pattern in the x-axis direction. Further down is the pattern in the y-axis direction. because the number of instances is 1. So there is still no pattern in the y-axis. Now that we change this 1 to 3, a preview of the circle appears in the y direction as well. Change the pattern distance on the y-axis to 100 and press enter to refresh the preview. Notice that the circle of the x-axis pattern are also patterned, as if the soldiers has formed a phalanx. Now click on the Entity to Pattern box in the property to activate it, and select the circle you want to draw at the beginning. You can see that both circles in the preview drawings are patterned, which means that multiple elements can be patterned when you select multiple elements in the sketch. The pattern is not only the x-axis and the y-axis can be patterned. We can select different angles in this angle box. And we can also make a pattern in different directions. We enter 45 degrees in the angle box below the x-axis. So we can change the direction of this pattern. And that is what the line pattern does. And here we click the cancel button. Let's learn about the circular sketch pattern. Click the triangle button next to the pattern. You can see that in addition to the linear sketch pattern, there is also a circular sketch pattern. Then we click on it in the first box of the property box on the left. That is, select the rotation center of the circular pattern. Here you can select a circle. You can also select a point. We select the center of the circle on the left, and then we select the right line in the entity to be patterned. You can see that the line makes a rotation pattern along the center of the circle. We can change the number of instances to 3. The number of straight lines has changed from 4 to 3. Let's exit the circular sketch pattern. Find the point command in the sketch tool and click on it. Then draw a point to the left of the circle. Press ESC to exit. Then click on the circular sketch pattern. Click on the point you just drew in the first box as the center of the circle. And then select the element on the right in the main box entity. You can also make a circular sketch pattern. Note that we can also unspec the equally spaced button and enter the pattern spacing angle above it. We enter 45 degrees. Press enter and look at the yellow preview circle. And we can see that this circle is the first circle, and the circle obtained by rotating the center point by 45 degrees relative to the circle in the box. Now change the number of instances. Let's change it to 4. We can see that the sketch is arranged in 45 degrees into 4 circles. And now we click on the equal spacing again, and we can see that the angle above the equal spacing changed to 135 degrees, which means that these 4 circles are in the 135 degrees area. Arrange them at equal spacing, and then change 135 degrees to 360 degrees. Press the keyboard Enter key. You can see that these circles are arranged in a circle, arranged at equal spacing. We look down, there is an instances to skip box at the bottom. Click to activate this box. We find one of the circles that has just been patterned and then click on it. You can find that this circle is gone. We can also delete the circle we just selected in this option box, and the circle that just disappears will appear again, which is the function of the circular sketch pattern, which is also often used in sketching. So the circular sketch pattern needs a lot of practice, and this will be studied more in our sketch exercise of 40 practice questions. These are the features that are commonly used in sketch editing. There is also a button to move the entity, which has the move entity, copy the entity, rotate the entity, scale the entity, and stretch the entity. These buttons are relatively less practical, and the difficulty is actually not great, so I won't introduce it specifically. As long as you remember that Solidworks has these functions and then use it when you need to use it. Here you can pause the video and do it yourself to familiarize yourself with the editing function of the sketch. And then we will move on to the sketching exercises. Now let's move on to the sketch exercise, which is the outline of a dolphin's robotic arm. If you still find this sketch a little difficult, I recommend that you start by practicing the first two questions of the 40 practice sketch questions. Below we see this sketch, which is drawn from the origin of the sketch. Includes link lines, up and slot. To fully define, we use sketch dimensions as well as sketch geometrical relationships such as horizontal, symmetry, and so on. We can divide the sketch into several parts and then draw them one by one. If you are confident that you are drawing it against a sketch, you can take a screenshot of the image or pause the video and draw it again. If you still have questions about sketches, you can also follow me along. I am going to show you how to make this sketch. Start by opening a new part, sketching on a plane, and then start drawing against the sketch. Activate the line tool, then draw a line from the origin. Draw a line continuously against the sketch. Press ESC to exit the line when you are done, and check its geometry. Here, change the diagonal line to vertical, and then go to the drawing of the smart dimension to annotate. The method of angle annotation is to click on the line that needs to be labeled separately, and then move the mouse between the two lines to annotate. And then the length of the remaining line segment is labeled. And now all the line segments are turned black, indicating that this is fully defined. So let's move on to the top part. First draw the straight line, and then draw the straight line on the right as well. After drawing, we find the 3-point arc and draw the arc at the end of the line. After drawing is completed, we also select the line segment that needs to be tangent. Click on the tangent. Note that there are many ways to draw this sketch. Note that Kelvin Wynn's method is the only one. Let's draw a vertical construction line starting from the center of the arc. Then make the line on both sides symmetrical with the construction line. And then continue to switch to Smart Dimensions to dimension the distance between the two lines by 88 millimeters. If you get an error when you mark it here, it may be that the vertical line on your right coincides with the midpoint of the horizontal line below. And then draw and mark the rest of the line segment so that they all turn black. After all of the above is drawn, we activate the arc at the center of the circle. Continue to draw the upper part. Start from the center of the circle. Determine the first endpoint on this line, and then go to the top to determine the second endpoint, and then use the line to draw the rest against the sketch. And also draw this shape first. The arc above can be drawn with a 3-point arc. After drawing, set the connection to tangent, and this part is drawn. We switch to Smart Dimension to sketch the arc. I label the radius of the arc, then the length of the line, and I sketch against the drawing. The distance between the two lines is 37 millimeters, and the distance between the center of the circle and the line is 14 millimeters. Then it is to mark the straight line distance between the center of the circle and the center of the circle below. Note that this is not marked as a vertical distance here, and we will see where else needs to be marked after marking. The radius of this arc is 10, so mark it. And now the sketch will be black. So let's go ahead and draw the arc from the center of the circle. Then draw a line from the end of the arc. Note that the two lines are collinear, and we will set it to be collinear. Next, draw a 3-point arc and draw it here on the right. Next, continue to draw straight lines, and then you can use a vertical line to locate the relationship between them. Once a part of the drawing is complete, it is customary to completely define the undefined sketches by dimensions and geometric relations. In addition to the sketch and geometric relations, also note that the line and the arc are tangent. Here we mark the length of the line is 35 millimeters. If you mark the distance from the highest point to the center of the circle, there is no problem. Again, as long as the result of the sketch is the same, it is okay. All routes lead to Rome, and it depends on your own understanding and choice. Now that most of it has been drawn, let's draw the last part, and we are about the same. Here I first mark the distance of the vertical line from the left end to this side, and then draw a 3-point arc on the left side. And here I automatically add tangent geometric relations, and then connect here with the straight line. It's a mistake. We draw it. This place should be set to tangent and then mark the size of the sketch. This is the horizontal length of the line segment. Note that you don't mark the length dimension here. And then mark the radius of the arc, 8. These line segments are fully defined. Well, let's hurry up and continue to draw straight lines in the same box as the line segment in the picture. Note that there are a lot of automatic relationship icons in the system now, and I need to avoid them. And when you draw this sketch, you have unwanted geometric relationship. Remember to remove them. Draw arc here, make them tangent. And then what do you do? I will add that the angle is 60 degrees. Zoom in and see. These two arcs are equal. This geometric relationship needs to be speculated and judged by ourselves. We set it to equal. Drag and adjust the sketch in a little and then activate the fillet. Click on these two endpoints respectively. The size of the fillet is 10. There is no problem. It's okay. Let's continue to add the dimension. And slowly this sketch is done. This sketch may still be a little difficult for those who are new to the Solidworks. If you find this sketch really difficult, I recommend that you finish the sketch exercises. This sketch is actually the test diagram of the dolphin robotic arm in Kelvin Swiss Solidworks Advanced Robotic Arm Combat course. In the advanced course, we can design a working robotic arm from scratch. And this kind of practical learning is actually the most lacking for college students or even junior mechanical engineer. Okay, let's add this slot and the whole drawing is complete. If you can draw it easily, this sketch is basically a good idea. Sketches in SolidWorks are the foundation. Parts, features are also foundation. And the real main battlefield is actually the assembly. Join me in learning all the fundamentals of SolidWorks. Okay, all the drawings. Let's check if the sketch is fully defined. No problem. Kelvin Weiss is waiting for you in the next class to learn the knowledge of features. And we will see you in the next class.